House of Reps urge federal government to provide relief for families of Gombe boat accident victims. And on the foreign scene, Hurricane Melissa, with winds of up to 185 miles per hour, makes landfall in southwestern Jamaica. Good evening. This is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. I am Femi Ojo. The Senate has brought forward the screening of newly appointed service chiefs to Wednesday, reversing its earlier decision to conduct the exercise next week. The announcement came shortly after the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, read a separate correspondence from President Bola Tinubu seeking the confirmation of appointment of Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oluyede. Senator Akpabio said that change was necessary to enable the military chiefs to assume their duties immediately. President Bola Tinubu urged the Senate to give consideration to the confirmation process to ensure continuity and effective coordination of the nation's security architecture. Following the new schedule, the Committee of the Whole is expected to conduct the screening exercise during plenary on Wednesday. President Tinubu had a few days ago reshuffled the military hierarchy, removed General Christopher Musa and replaced him with General Oluyede, the immediate past chief of army staff.
President, appointment of Chief of Defense Staff. In compliance with the provisions of Section 18(1) of the Armed Forces Act, Cap A20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Lieutenant General O. Oluyede as Chief of Defense Staff. While I hope that the Senate will consider this request expeditiously, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my consideration and best regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Distinguished colleagues, this is referred to the Committee of the Whole for immediate consideration, and in view of the appointment of the Chief of Defense Staff, I plead with distinguished senators to reconsider and clear all of them, and then confirm them all at the same time. The Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Naval Staff. So if it is agreed by the Senate, I would like us to do it tomorrow so that they can go straight and start work, so that we don't leave any gap in security. Is it the view of the Senate that this be taken tomorrow? Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Defense, Abubakar Badaru, on Tuesday received the newly appointed service chiefs on a maiden courtesy visit to his office at the Ministry of Defense, Cheif House, Abuja. Those in attendance included the Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General O. Oluyede, Chief of Army Staff, Major General W. Shaibu, Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral I. Abbas, and Chief of Air Staff, Air Vice Marshal S.K. Aneke. Badaru stressed the importance of unity among the armed forces and called for a well-coordinated strategy to safeguard the nation's sovereignty and advance its security priorities. He also reaffirmed that the ministry's direction aligns with President Bola Tinubu's vision for a stronger, more effective military apparatus. The meeting comes a day after President Tinubu held a closed-door session with the newly appointed service chiefs at the Aso Rock Villa in Abuja. In Kwara State, Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak has received 23 abductees rescued by the Nigerian Army, warning that kidnappers and other criminal elements have no place in the state. The victims were handed over to the governor at the headquarters of the 22 Armored Brigade, Sobi, Ilorin today, following their release by the Army after weeks in captivity. Speaking during the brief handover ceremony, Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak expressed gratitude to the armed forces and President Bola Tinubu for their support in the ongoing military operations to clear out bandits and kidnappers from the state. The governor commended the general officer commanding and the new brigade commander, Brigadier General Nicholas Nemetne Rume, for their renewed onslaught against criminal elements. He disclosed that the state government will immediately deploy forest guards once the ongoing army cleanup operations are concluded to maintain peace. On his part, Brigadier General Rume praised the governor for his support of the army, vowing to sustain pressure on the kidnappers until they are completely flushed out of the state. Kwara, once regarded as one of the most peaceful states in the North Central, has in recent months witnessed a surge in kidnapping and banditry. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has said the Nigerian police force had no promotion scandal but a system that rewards diligence, professionalism, and proven capacity. IGP Egbetokun stated this on Tuesday in Abuja during the decoration ceremony of newly promoted police officers. He said the force would not be swayed by those who trade in falsehoods or seek to undermine the integrity of the Nigerian police force. According to him, the force's commitment to fairness and merit remains unwavering, as promotions in the force will remain guided solely by competence, performance, and discipline. He stated that there is no place for trepidation, nepotism, or clever sentiment, adding that the decoration ceremony was not just for advancement in rank, but the affirmation of excellence, character, and distinguished service. 923 officers were promoted in the current batch, a promotion following recommendation of the police chief to the Police Service Commission. And turning to politics, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amokwiton, SAN, has assured Nigerians that the commission is taking urgent steps to resolve network challenges experienced during the mock accreditation exercise in Anambra State ahead of the November 8th governorship election. The exercise, conducted over the weekend in selected areas of the state, was part of the Commission's preparations for the upcoming poll. Speaking at the meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security today in Abuja, Professor Mokweton said the Commission is fully prepared for the election and is committed to ensuring a smooth and credible process. The Don, who presided over his first ICCES meeting as ANEC chairman, for the pledge to uphold the integrity of the country's elections.
And I wish to reiterate my personal commitment to delivering free, fair, and credible elections that genuinely reflects the will of the Nigerian people. As you are all aware, the Anambra election is scheduled for Saturday, 8th day of November 2025. Just 11 days away. Following a week-long comprehensive readiness assessment conducted across the states, the Commission is confident in affirming its full preparedness for the polls. I want to report to this meeting that only last week we conducted a mock accreditation exercise in 12 selected polling units in 6 local government areas of Anambra State, using the bimodal voter accreditation system, popularly referred to as BVAS. Although we encountered some little network challenges, efforts have been made to ensure a seamless election on the 8th day of November 2025. And we are ready for a large-scale deployment on election day. We plan to deploy 24,000 personnel. The election will also be held in 5,718 out of the 5,720 polling units in the states. Voting will not take place in 2 polling units due to the absence of registered voters. We call them 0 polling units. And we don't have any registered voters for those polling units.
Meanwhile, the National Security Advisor NSA Nuhuri Badu has cautioned politicians and stakeholders against violence in the election, warning that such acts won't be tolerated. The NSA, who was represented by the Director of Internal Security Hassan Abdullahi, reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to ensuring a peaceful and secure environment for the poll. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has approved the deployment of 42,000 officers for the election build for November 8, 2025.
We have put in place robust security measures. These include enhanced surveillance, the deployment of sufficient security personnel, and improved intelligence gathering to prevent any attempt by disruptive elements or desperate politicians to undermine the electoral process. Moreover, we are proactively engaging with political party leaders and local stakeholders to send a clear message that violence will not be tolerated in our elections. All participating political parties and their candidates must advocate for peace and encourage their supporters to conduct themselves in a manner that honors the integrity of our electoral system. Any form of violence during the elections will be met with strong, uncompromising response. In conclusion, the Nigerian police, the lead agency for election security, along with other security agencies, stands prepared and resolute to maintain a secure environment during the Anambra State elections. We call upon all citizens to collaborate and commit to a peaceful electoral process that reflects our values and aspirations.
On a rather sad note, the National Emergency Management Agency has confirmed 2 persons dead, while 20 survivors have been rescued from the 2-story building that collapsed on Monday at 54 Cole Street near Cemetery Bus Stop in Oyigbo area of Lagos State. NEMA gave the update in a statement on his X handle on Tuesday. The agency stated that his Lagos Operations Office led a multi-agency response to distress alert and immediately deployed rescue personnel and extrication equipment to the scene, working in conjunction with the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency and other emergency services. The agency said after several hours of intensive operations, 20 persons were rescued, while those with injuries were promptly evacuated to nearby hospitals for treatment. Following the final phase of the operation, NEMA said all occupants were accounted for and the search and rescue mission was concluded. The agency added that the collapsed structure had been marked for demolition, but occupants allegedly ignored evacuation directives prior to the incident. Moving on, Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka on Tuesday announced that the United States has revoked his visa, making his entry into the country impossible for now. Soyinka disclosed this during a media parley held at Kongi's Harvest Gallery, Freedom Park, Lagos Island, saying he was unaware of any wrongdoing that could have warranted a revocation. The reason for the visa revocation remains unclear, as Soyinka himself said he was still in the dark about it. In recent times, the U.S. government has taken steps to curb the influx of migrants into the country. According to Soyinka, the U.S. consulate informed him of the revocation in a letter dated October 23. The Nobel laureate expressed confusion over the development, saying he was still looking into his past history, noting that he doesn't have any past criminal record or even a felony or misdemeanor to qualify for the revocation. Soyinka's visa is classified as B1-B2, a temporary non-immigrant visa for travel to the United States for business, B1, or tourism, B2. And here in Osun State, young people have been urged to get engaged in meaningful ventures towards contributing to the growth of the country. These formed a part of discussions alongside issues of security at the opening ceremony of the Osun NUJ Press Week. Favor Akinriola's report is presented from our studios.
It's the opening ceremony of the 2025 Press Week of the Nigerian Union of Journalists Osun State Council, themed Governance and Security in Nigeria, Progress, Challenges and Future Directions. The guest lecturer, Professor Kola Olusonya from Osun State University in Osogbo, addressed the complex nature of the country's governance and security. According to him, to move Nigeria forward, the country must adopt a new vision which focuses on strengthened institutions rather than individuals.
I think we are largely safe. But some people also believe if the police come from Osogbo and is policing Osogbo, Osogbo will be safe because we speak the same language. I don't think so. Not necessary. It might work, but it may not work on the large scale. The bottom line is for us to be able to have that architecture to protect and prepare people to save for safety. Promote civic engagement and media freedom. A free and responsible, fearless press is essential for the healthy society. It's equally important to empower civil society so they can support leaders in being accountable. Encouraging citizen participation through inclusive policy making, open data, transparency initiatives help create a more engaged and trusting community.
In his remarks, Chairman of the occasion, Deputy Speaker of the Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Akinyode Oyewusi, who was represented by Honorable Jeremiah Woyeye, spoke about the importance of a viable media in the country. On his part, the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Oluomokolapo Alimi, said good governance and protection of citizens are crucial for the advancement of the society.
It goes to show that insecurity in Nigeria cannot be discussed as a silo. It has a lot of things that is connected therewith. In a country where poverty is prevalent, we want to talk about security. The Yorubas will say, a lot of unemployment in Nigeria. The Gen Zs, if you have nowhere to go, you wake up every day, you don't have nothing to do. There's no way you have bad thoughts, and there's no way you have bad character.
It might be possible for you to provide for yourself welfare, certain things. But security is not something you can do alone. That is why it's the most important thing. If the government refuses to provide water for you, you can go to the river. If they refuse to provide electricity, you can buy candle. If I thought the candle will not be a permanent replacement, but at least it serves some purpose. You can go to the bush and fetch some firewood. You can decide on your own to make your own clothes. You can go to the farm, plant your food.
Earlier in his opening remarks, NUJ Chairman Comrade Wasiu Ajadosu said security agencies need more support to deliver on their set objectives.
When Buhari came on board, it is our belief that as a retired general, that he has the antidote to our insecurity. But 8 years after Buhari, we are still discussing insecurity. And the man at the shadow now is a general in politics. We want to know how far he has gone, and probably is there any solution at sight? We are looking at the direction towards how to protect our lives in this country. I could say that if it's not a mere propaganda, the current administration has been doing wonderfully in the area of security. Because I think just 3-4 days ago, there's a pictorial evidence through social media where the Nigerian troops actually killed about 50 bandits. I think that is a plus for this government. They have not been experiencing such.
The ceremony was also attended by the Alagba of Agbaland, Oba Rufus Olayinka, who was represented by Chief Fadele, veteran journalist and members of the NUJ in the state.
In another development, the West African Examination Council (WAEC) has dismissed the reports alleging that it issued a directive restricting senior secondary students to specific subjects for the forthcoming 2026 West African Senior School Certificate Examination for school candidates. In a statement issued on Tuesday by the acting head of Public Affairs, Moyosola Adesina, the exam body described the report as unfounded assumptions and urged schools and the general public to disregard them. Amid recent social media reports suggesting that the schools had been directed to limit student subject combinations for the 2026 examination, WAEC reiterated that such claims were false and not issued by the council. The examination body clarified that it does not issue directives concerning the development or modification of senior secondary curricula, as it was the responsibility of the federal government through relevant education authorities. The council further assured stakeholders that any change to the curriculum would follow due process. Any change, rather, the curriculum will follow due process and not be introduced arbitrarily. Still to come, federal government reaffirms commitment to attain zero hunger goals. We will bring you more on these when we return. Stay with us.